Okay, Leo, your turn. Let's see what's going on for you for February 2024. I'm going to take a look at the astrology of Mars and Venus moving into Aquarius this month. And we have a Mars-Venus conjunction happening in Aquarius. So I'll tell you more about what that means for you in the extended, but let's see where we go. Likely, I will also pull cards for each zodiac sign, giving you some sense of who you're dealing with. Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus for you, Leo. Let's see where we go. I saw the Shadow card in Divine Feminine. Shadow of Divine Feminine. All right, let's see where that goes. I saw this card too. Affluence. Affluence. Stormy. Interesting. And knowledge. All right. Some of you have some kind of wound around affluence, not just money or resources or something like that, but big money. Some of you have a wound around that, like you're either like part of a family inheritance, that can be part of it. You're married into money. That could be something. You could, or you could have some kind of real rage around people that have a lot of money or something like that. This Stormy card, I'm going to get some additional information around that as we go. And I do feel like this has to do with awareness, like some kind of preconceived notion that you have is not true. You have a lens or a belief around money that is going to be proven to not be true. Okay, so let's see where we go with this. And that can be anything. That can be, you know, you could have this real anger for people who have a lot of money, and you meet somebody and fall in love and discover their family has a huge amount of money and they're really lovely people. Or the opposite. Or you could be somebody who has a lot of inherited money from your own family and have a wound around people liking you, or you think they like you only for your money or something like that. Now, affluence can be a lot of things. Affluence can be, what's the word I'm looking for? It's sort of like pull, power, ability to make things go the way you want to in return for favors or whatever that looks like. I feel like there's all these things are like up for grabs, like preconceived notions about money are up for grabs right now with you, Leo. So underneath is the Wheel of Fortune. Oh yeah, the King of Wands, the Four of Wands, Five of Swords, Queen of Cups, Ace of Cups. Look at this. Ace of Swords. Yeah. Okay. So what I just said to you about preconceived notions about somebody, you could meet somebody and fall in love and not know that they have a ton of money, and then you recognize that they do, and you're like, oh, I really thought their family was awful. I really thought that what they did was a terrible thing, or some kind of conflict here. Some of you could also feel like you've been manipulated by money in your family. And now that doesn't have to be huge amounts of money. It can just be that, like, maybe you felt like you didn't have a say in things because you didn't have resources. It's possible that you have a mother who kind of ruled with an iron fist. In order to get love, you must bring resources into the family. There's something about trading love for money, okay? There's something about that is a real truth or a wound that needs attention. Lovers, Sun, there's Leo, Two of Pentacles. Eight of Swords. What is the thing? Would I rather, well, would I rather fly or be invisible? That's the, that's the little superpower thing, right? When you're a kid, would you rather fly or be invisible? This is like, would you rather have the love of your life or be rich? The belief could come from that has to be a choice, that you're not allowed to have the love of your life and have a lot of resources, right? Because I'm getting this Two of Pentacles, one or the other. and this Two of Swords with this Eight of Swords, like a very much a closed mind. So we have, from our families, our families have beliefs and values. And as we come up in the world, as we grow up in a family, even unspoken ones can be the loudest ones, right? That there's a belief around money, or people who have it or people who don't have it. And I feel like Leo here has been tied to the belief, because this is Capricorn. So this is about Saturn. This is about the idea that everything is difficult. Everything must have a price. Everything's got a price. All right. And when you have these beliefs, expectations, rationalizations, biases about anything, the kid, it is imprinted on the children in the family for sure. Okay. And especially if there's no voice or conversation around this, then what happens is it can get really twisted sideways, and become a conviction, become a way of otherizing people, or a way of separating yourself from people. Like, we don't go with those people kind of thing. There's something here about that. And it's definitely a mindset that you kind of believe is the truth. So we have these thoughts and these experiences with our family, and then they become beliefs. And then if they get entrenched enough, if you have any experiences, you kind of chalk it up to, like if you run across someone who's very wealthy and they're awful to you, you're looking through the lens of, rich people are awful. And so that becomes true for you. It becomes a conviction. It gets calcified. And I think there's something here about the opposite of this whole situation. Now, the opposite of Capricorn is Cancer, which is about nurturing and love, but this is about choices. This is about choices, and this is about not having choices because I've tied myself to something and I'm not willing to change my mind. This is about being open to choices, and you've got choices here. Now, you may not think you have them because of the things that have calcified from family beliefs. But let's see where we go. You might be falling in love with somebody, or someone comes into your life that breaks through that. Okay. Now that we have Pluto in Aquarius, Aquarius is about breaking through those calcified belief systems. It's about gaining freedom from that. So the full moon in your sign of Leo happening this week as I'm doing this reading. I know this is for February, but there's something about shining a light, because here you are with this Leo energy, and we are talking about the full moon in Leo. So we're talking about the light being the lunar light being the loudest it ever is. And when we're talking about the moon, we're talking about things that are deeply held, not secrets, but kind of like things that are under the surface that come up out of the water, come up out of our feelings. It can be like this stormy energy. Things can rage in you when that belief is kind of tying you to a situation that isn't really what you want. It's not the choice you want to make. So some of you could have married for money. You earn every dime, right? Some of you could think that that's a great deal. Some of you could think that's the worst thing in the world. Some of you could think people like me just for what I have. But there's something with Pluto moving into Aquarius, and we're talking about, right now, we're talking about February. We're in Aquarius time. So this is about shining the light on some kind of belief systems that have been deeply held. Moon. Six of Pentacles. Who gets what? Okay. Who gets what? And the Five of Wands. So some of you, on a personal level, I know Aquarius is big picture and culture and society, but some of you went into a marriage or went into a relationship thinking it was going to be equal or was going to be one kind of relationship. But then something happened. Somebody gained power, like affluence. Somebody gained power in the relationship, and they are looking at the relationship for what they can get from it. Or there's something about being manipulative. Okay, there's definitely some manipulation going on here. And I feel like when this comes to the surface, right, this knowledge card, when this comes to the surface, then it's like you can't unsee it. All right, you can't unsee it. This is like, I don't want to see it. Eight of Swords and Two of Swords, both blindfolded. I don't want to see that I am trapped in something that comes from a baser urge of mine, or comes from an addiction of mine, or comes from some kind of wound. I don't want to see that I married this person from my wounds, or that I agreed to be in this relationship because of my wounded self. I want to think that I had a choice and I wanted to be happy. But it keeps wobbling here back and forth, the Two of Pentacles. It keeps wobbling back and forth. And so what happens here, I feel like in the full moon, that's 25th of January. I'll talk more about the astrology in the extended, but this is about, look at rich and poor. And we can talk about this figuratively. It can be like the haves and the have-nots, or the people with power and the people without power. And this is represented as pentacles. So that's how the story is being told. But it seems to me that when you unearth some of these truths that you believe to be true, especially around love, or especially around how money works in your relationship, then things get messy. Okay. And I feel like some of you had a lot of assumptions going into a marriage or going into a relationship, or you might be on the cusp of going into a relationship and not realizing that you have these things, these beliefs that hold you back. And it is a little predictably here, a little bit, it will be stormy if these truths are not unearthed. Okay. And these truths can be anything. It can have to do with money, but money, what's money? Money is like what we give value to. So are we valuing ourselves? Do we value a kind of life that is peaceful? Do we value peace? Do we value industry? Do we value, what's the word I'm looking for? Philanthropy. What do we value here? So let me clarify the stormy for 1 second. Queen of Pentacles, King of Cups, Hermit, Ten of Cups. This is a lot about your parents, shining a light on your belief system that comes from your parents and being able to translate it into a happy life. So some of you are on the cusp of having a life partner, right? This is Wheel of Fortune, King of Wands, and the Four of Wands. You're on the cusp of having a life partner. And do you want the same marriage as your parents, or don't you? That's something to look at. And the Six of Pentacles and Five of Wands, why is this here? High Priestess, Ten of Pentacles, Page of Pentacles, and the Magician. You get to make whatever you want. You get to create something, but create it purposefully from anchored in your intuition. This is family values also, Ten of Pentacles. I want something that goes the distance. So I'm going to learn something new. I am going to manifest not out of my unconscious beliefs about people. Okay. Not out of that, because you know what you're going to get? You're going to get this. I am going to manifest out of What do I want to create? So if you're going into a relationship that's you feel is unconscious, all right, like it's just repeating your parents or something like that, for better, for worse, what's being asked of you right now in February is to look at that. What do you think you're creating? What do you want to create? And manifest that. So some of you may not have a partner even on the radar yet, but this is, and this is like a radar screen, right? But this is like, it's time to bring your values conscious so that you can create something that you truly want. All right, so I'm going to go into the astrology and the extended. We'll see where we go with this. I will look at blocks. I will look at what you don't see coming, and I will look at the next 30 days. All right, link is below. I'll see you over there, Leo. All right, I hope you enjoyed that video. If it was helpful to you, please consider liking this video and sharing it with anybody who might have a need for similar kind of information. And if you like this video, check out these videos.